And the report states that Mr. Burkholder told the informant he was upset about Mr. Piro's death as he considered Mr. Piro his, quote, boy and a good customer.
Joe. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is March 19th, 2026. My name is Danny Barra, serving as your chairman today. My colleagues on today's panel are Mr. Tillis on my left and Ms. Ledoux on Zoom. The panel today at headquarters is in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Would staff please introduce yourself for the record?
Deputy Warden Chad Darwell. Darius Credit, Assistant Warden Classification.
Jackie Preside, Records Manager.
Christy LeBlanc, Classification.
Thank you. Our remote location is Hunt Correctional Center. Today, we're doing a parole hearing for Mr. Leonard Burkholder. Mr. Burkholder, would you please introduce yourself and state your DOC number for the record?
My name is Leonard Burkholder, DOC number 491-565.
All right, I'm gonna give you a brief explanation of the process. We're gonna read some information into the record, ask you to verify it. We're gonna give you a chance to speak and tell us what you did to cause your incarceration and why you think you should be released. We'll take warden comments if they have any. We'll allow public comments from 3 supporters and 3 in opposition. The district attorney's office will be given a chance to speak. And we'll conduct a parole interview with you and we'll allow your attorney to finish it up. So let's begin. Today we have for parole consideration Leonard Burkholder, DOC number 491-565, who's a first felony offender who was convicted of manslaughter reduced from second-degree murder on February 28, 2010, and was sentenced to serve 30 years hard labor in St. Tammany Parish. Your parole eligibility date is 3/25/26. Your good time date is 10/11/26, and your full time date is 4/5/35. Does that sound correct to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll let you lead it off. What did you do to cause yourself to be incarcerated, and why do you think it's a good time to release you now?
I made some terrible choices in my late teens and early 20s, choices that led to me selling drugs. And no decision was worse or more harmful than the one I made on October 7th of 2004. And that was when I sold 5 methadone wafers to my friend Nicholas Piro, who later consumed them, overdosed, and ultimately died as a result. And I would like to take this opportunity, if I may, to apologize to the Piro family. And just let them know how deeply sorry I am for my careless and reckless actions all those years ago that played a part in Nick's untimely death. And though that was never my intention, I know that I still caused their family a great deal of grief and heartache. And there are no words that can express how remorseful I am or how regrettable those past actions are. But I am truly, truly sorry for my actions and what I've done and the pain that it has caused their family. As far as parole, the younger version of myself was not a very good decision maker. Lacked forethought, didn't really give much thought to the consequences my actions could have and the impact that it could have on other people's lives. I had very limited education and job skills. I had a poor work ethic, which made, obtaining employment difficult. But I've taken this situation very seriously from the beginning. And at the beginning of my incarceration, I chose to take a hard, honest look at myself, to take a moral inventory and try to identify some of the flaws in my character. And I've used the programming and resources available to me to, grow and mature and try to correct those flaws. Today, I'm far and away a better decision maker than I was 20 plus years ago. I give a lot of thought to my actions and how it might affect not only myself, but the lives of others around me. And I've improved my work ethic. I've developed a strong work ethic. I placed an emphasis on education, furthering my education, obtaining job skills across multiple fields, so that I'll be better equipped to gain meaningful employment whenever the opportunity arises. I have an amazing support system with family and friends who love me and are willing to support me in transitioning into a normal life. I have an out-of-state residence plan with a interstate compact in progress to Texas. And I have employment lined up. I have everything I need to make a successful transition from prison back into society, and everything I need to be successful going forward should I be given the opportunity.
Do you or your staff have any comments to add to Mr. Burkhalter's statement or to his behavior there while he was incarcerated with y'all?
Yes, sir. So he has a total of 7 write-ups. This is incarceration here at Lane Hunt. He's currently a carpenter tutor. He's taking multiple vocational programs. He's a AANA. He's the president of the Health and Fitness Club. And I've been here 3 months, but I've talked to other staff members that have been here a long time. And they said anytime they need anybody to volunteer or help, he's very helpful, and they have no problems and no issues with the matter.
All right, thank you very much. Today we have people here speaking in support. We have Jane Hogan, the attorney who's here present and wants to speak. We have a friend, Alicia Robel, a best friend who is on Zoom but not speaking. We have Mark Bruton, a brother-in-law who would like to speak, Tina Bruton, a sister who would like to speak, and Linda Larpenter, an aunt who would like to speak. So I know Ms. Hogan wants to go last, so we'll start with Mark Bruton. Would you step to the podium and tell us what you got to say?
See me?
That's fine.
Okay,
That's good.
thank you for the opportunity to talk to you guys this morning. I just wanted to follow up on what Paul was saying. I've only known Paul Leonard Paul since 2016, when me and his sister started dating. And I do plan on providing him employment with the company that I work for. In whatever capacity, several different opportunities he's gonna have to find his way. We have housing, set up for him to live with us. So he'll have every resource we have available to make his transition smooth, to be a productive citizen to our society. And I will add also, in my career, I've hired and evaluated hundreds of people for employment. And I feel like I've been pretty successful in my career of judging a man's character. And I will have to say that, I'm 100% confident that should you guys choose to let Paul out, then he will be a very solid contributor to society. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Tina Bruton.
Good morning, I'm Tina Bruton, Leonard's younger sister. I've been walking this journey with him for the last 21 years. And today I just want to speak of the complete transformation that has happened in his life and the maturity that he has gained as a man and as a human being. And we are in complete support of him financially, emotionally, and spiritually to help his transition as he were to come home. If that were to be granted, I would just ask that you would to kindly please consider his choices that he has made to support his growth thus far. Thank you.
We also have Linda Larpenter.
Yes, sir.
I'm Paul's aunt, and his dad is my brother. I've been coming to see Paul since he's been here at Lane Hunt for whatever the number of years are. I don't even count anymore. I started coming with my mother, who is now deceased. I've also brought my 3 granddaughters as they've come along over the years to, visit with Paul, Leonard Paul. We call him Paul, if that's his middle name. His dad was called Leonard. Anyway, we've come to see him as often as we could. The girls love him. He's been kind, he's gentle, he's respectful. He pays attention to them, he listens to them. He has matured in ways that I've watched the maturity. The first thing he did was to get his GED once he was incarcerated. And he's taken so many other, I have some of his records at my house, and I've got the list of the classes and the courses that he's passed to better himself and to be sure that at whatever point he is released, he would be able to gain employment. We talk all the time. We talk on the phone all on a regular basis. We talk about his work in the shop where he's building things. He's been in the wood shop. He's been in the jewelry shop, and it's always a joy to spend time with him. And should he be released, he has the complete support of our family. My granddaughters love him. I love him. My husband is on board. If he were to need to stay in Louisiana for any reason, he would have a place to stay with us. I live in Ponchatoula, and we pray that you will have mercy on him today.
Thank you. All right, we also have some people in opposition who would like to speak. We have Mr. Butch Wilson with the 22nd JDC District Attorney's Office. Have Captain Kevin Swain. We also have Robert Pirro. All 3 of those want to speak, and we also have present but not speaking Rose Gennaro and Janet Bray.
We'd like to hear from his attorney first.
Say that again?
I'd like to hear from his attorney first, Ms. Hogan.
We were gonna let her speak last, but
Not after opposition. Opposition speaks last.
all right. Let's hear from her attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Barra, Ms. Ledoux, Mr. Tillis. Would just like to say that I've had the pleasure of representing Mr. Burkholder for about 5 years now for different things. All of the comments that you have heard this morning about his character are 100% accurate. He is a man of integrity. He has taken every opportunity to better himself. He is currently a tutor in the VOTEC. He's been tutoring other people for about 15 years, teaching others the skills that he has learned to better other people's lives, not just to enrich himself. This is really not a typical, I know that we're probably recognizes this is not typical of the manslaughters that this board is used to seeing, and Mr. Burkholder is not a typical individual. That is not to minimize the life that was lost in this case in any way, and it's not to diminish the utmost remorse that Mr. Burkholder feels for the loss of his friend, which he caused by his actions 21 years ago. This presents an opportunity for this board to release Mr. Burkholder with conditions, whereas if he were to good time out, he would good time out without conditions of release. Mr. Burkholder, this board can set any condition for release on Mr. Burkholder. He would willingly comply with anything, whether it's attending substance abuse meetings or anything of the sort. He has out-of-state residents lined up. He has a low risk, he has low Tiger score. He is a member of the Veterans Dormitory Mentorship Program, where he is mentoring people, and he has been well over a decade without a write-up, and only 7 write-ups total. And the last write-up he had was minimal. So for all of these reasons, we would ask this board to look at the totality of this case and who Mr. Burkholder is and what he has achieved in light of his circumstances. He is a first offender. He was 23 years old when he made these decisions that led him to prison. And for all of these reasons, we'd ask this board to take the opportunity to grant his parole and to impose any conditions of release that it deems fit. Thank you.
All right. Now we'll hear from opposition, Mr. Butch Wilson with the 22nd JDC District Attorney. Want to let him go last? Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
No.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, am I going last or are the family members speaking first?
It doesn't matter to me. You want to go last?
Yeah, I'd prefer that actually.
All right. Then we'll hear from Captain Swain. Yes.
Thank the board for the serious job that y'all have today. My name is Kevin Swan, I'm Captain of the South Police Department. Ran investigations during the time of this incident. South Police Department strongly opposes any early release. Just want to remind the board, the original charge, second degree homicide. There was a very strong case, and there was a lot of conversations with the family and also with the district attorney's office. We thought the full term was appropriate. The family thought that when it happened, and that's why the agreement was entered into. So the South Police Department and family fully opposed any early release. Just want to remind the board, which I'm sure you're aware of, which the other, if he would have went to trial and found guilty, he would not be in front of the board today. So if you have any questions of me, I'll have to answer them, but we strongly oppose any early release of this individual.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Does anybody else? No. No question.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We got Mr. Robert Pirro.
On the morning of October the 8th, 2004, my life changed forever. My wife was in the kitchen and I asked her what time the next dentist appointment was. She said she was going to wake him up. She went to his room. The door was locked. She found a small little screwdriver and opened the door. I heard her screaming and crying, and I rushed into the room where she was holding his son. She told me to call 911. Something was wrong with Nick. He was not moving. His body was cold. Darlene was screaming to get help. I ran across the street and asked the neighbor to help. He came over and didn't know what to do. My wife was crying and begging to do something as she was holding her child in her arms. I went outside when the police arrived. They sent the Nick's room. Police officer walked inside and he came out, took off his gloves and said, "I'm sorry." My wife was screaming as she held her dead child in her arms. Seconds later, the EMTs arrived and helped police officers. They confirmed my child was dead. The police asked us to go into another room while they started the investigation. I heard EMS and police say it was a very possible overdose. They said they have seen a lot of these cases lately, and this is a serious problem in the parish. I called my wife's parents to tell them that their grandson was dead. I called my daughter's school and told her Nick was dead and to come home right away because we needed her. I called my mother to tell her Nick was dead. The police called my sisters. This was a horrible nightmare. My wife and I were zombies. It's gonna be real. My only son was dead. I was in shock. My daughter and my in-laws had to make the funeral arrangements. Days passed. We were able to see our son at the wake. When I saw my little boy lying in the coffin, I was in shock. Nick's funeral was packed. Hundreds attended the wake. The next day, the church was packed. My son was a very kind, loving person. He liked everyone he met. A man came up to me at church, a person I had never met, and told me a story about how he met my son. He was riding his bike by the movies where my son worked. I asked Nick if he could help me. Nick gave me some money to get something to eat. He found out later about Nick's death from the people who worked at the movies. He asked me if he could sing at the mass. I told him that we already had someone, but he could sing at the graveyard as well. Yes, he did sing at the graveyard. I thought that would make my son happy. I hate October the 8th. I remember my wife screaming and crying. Some days while I'm driving or working, I see my wife crying and holding our son. This happens during the day while I'm awake. When I'm sleeping, it's worse. When my wife and I see Nick's friends with their wives and children, I think of all the things I miss. I miss the girl my son would marry. I miss his wedding. And I miss the children and the grandchildren that I would never see. I miss his birthday. The holidays are a joke. It took me 15 years to put up a Christmas tree after my son's death. My son loved homemade hamburgers. He would bring them to his work for his friends to enjoy. After his death, it took me 9 years to make a burger. I was a very, very angry person. People noticed. I tried to conceal my anger. I changed. Lost friends, lost work. I prayed every day for God to control what was burning inside me. After the convicted murderer was sentenced that day, the anger started to subside. On July the 23rd of 2005, shortly after the drug dealer was arrested, the newspaper and local TV stations reported the story. My mother, who is from a large Italian family, she called and she asked me why I didn't tell her. No, I'm sorry. When my mother called, her first question was, is it true? Did Nick die from an overdose? I told her, yes, it was true. My mother is from a large Italian family. She asked me why I didn't tell her. I explained to her that the drug dealer ran when the police started the investigation. The police talked to my wife and I and told us not to discuss anything about Nick. At the time, I was running a local bingo hall. I was told people may ask questions about Nick to give to his defense attorney. We kept quiet. Only my wife, myself, and my in-laws knew what was going on. My mother informed me that her sisters had called her and asked questions, and she was very upset with me. I thought my mother would tell me she was happy the police caught the person who sold drugs to my son and killed him. Instead, she told me I embarrassed her in front of her family, and the sisters and brothers. I was shocked. I told my mother from this day forward, I would never speak to her again. I told my sisters that when she dies, don't bother calling me, I don't care. Years later, my sister called me and told me my mother was in the hospital dying. I didn't go. Days later, my mother died. I did not attend her funeral. This decision impacted my life forever. The fifth man. I shall love you, mother, and fall broken. I will ask God to forgive me every day until the day I die. I went to the graveyard Sunday morning, and I spoke to my son Nick and a young man named Aaron, who was in a crib 10 feet from my son. Aaron, who died 3 days later, before my son died of the same drug combination. I told them I would fight for them here. I I feel that if this person gets paroled, he will sell drugs again, and other children will die. This will destroy other families, and I'm here to ask the board to please deny this request for parole. Thank you. If you all have any questions, I could have wrote for hours of what this has done to my wife and I. And it's something I would never wish on my person. And until you see and watch your wife holding your dead child, and we live through this every day. He got 30 years. We got a life sentence for a crime we never committed. And again, my son was not the only person he was responsible of. There's a third person, Casey, who is here to that podium. And I see Casey and I talked to him. He died a month later. And I told Casey and Aaron, my son, that I would be here for safe support. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, and now we'll hear from Mr. Wilson.
Muted.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. I don't have a lot to add to what we've already heard today. I know y'all have been provided with the report I'm looking at right now, this parole investigation that is very well written and informative. There are just two details in that report that I would accent for the board. On the synopsis, the factual synopsis is contained. The report makes mention of the fact that after Mr. Pirro had died, the police had sent an informant in to make a controlled purchase of drugs from Mr. Burkholder. And the report states that Mr. Burkholder told the informant he was upset about Mr. Pirro's death as he considered Mr. Pirro his, quote, boy and a good customer. After Mr. Burkholder was arrested, he was interviewed by the police, and the report notes Mr. Burkholder admitted that he sold 5 methadone wafers to Mr. Pirro the day before he died. Mr. Burkholder also stated that when he heard that Mr. Pirro had died, he thought it might be related to the methadone wafers. But this didn't stop him from continuing to deal drugs, in spite of the fact that the dope that he had sold had killed a teenager. This is the salient fact in this matter to us, and on behalf of the district attorney's office, we ask you to deny parole. Thank you.
That's all the people that we had that want to speak today. We do have opposition from the sheriff's office. We have opposition from the chief of police and from the attorney general's office. All right, your case is assigned to me. I'll ask the first set of questions. And is this your first time appearing before the parole board?
Yes, sir.
I really don't have any questions. This case is self-explanatory. Do you want to add anything to what you originally said about this case? The only thing I could ask you is why do you think you deserve to be released today?
I think that, I'm not the same person that I was 21 years ago. Again, I made some terrible decisions in my late teens and early 20s, and I've done everything I can. I've given my best effort, to change from that person into the man that I am today.
All right. That's all the questions I had, Mr. Tillis.
How old were you at the time? You said 22, 21?
23.
Was the victim, was he a friend of yours? Or you just?
He was a friend, but briefly, I would say for about a year. I met him through some other mutual friends.
How old was he?
I believe he was 18.
And you were 22?
23, yes, sir.
Yeah, were you using drugs too?
Marijuana was my drug of choice. I was smoking marijuana, from my mid-teen years, and that remained my drug of choice as I got older. So that was pretty much my drug of choice.
Have you, used drugs since then?
No, sir.
Incarceration? What about, I see you've taken a lot of classes and stuff. What are the ones that impact you the most?
Obviously the vocational classes, have an impact as far as, making me equipped to find employment, whenever that time comes. But I think the class that most impacted me on a personal level was victim impact. And just hearing, victim impact statements and how people were affected by crimes, when they suffer loss and suffer something that's devastating. I think a lot of people at the commission of their crime, they don't really realize that it's going to have on, other people. Like the ripple effect it's so mind-boggling how many people are affected by a crime. And I know that what I've done is, it's caused someone to lose their life, and it's caused a family to lose a loved one, parents to lose a child. Aunts and uncles and grandparents were affected, classmates, friends, teachers, friends of those friends who have to be there for support, for people to lean on. I understand that, what I did was very devastating to a lot of people, that I interrupted a lot of people's lives. Again, I was a young, irresponsible person at that time. And since then, I've tried to control my path going forward and just to transform into a better person, to make better decisions and to, have some thought as to how my actions can impact other people and other people's lives. And I think I've done a good job at, changing from the person that I once was into the man that I am today.
How long did you sell drugs to him? That you can remember?
For about the length of our friendship, for about a year. He was introduced to me for that sole purpose. Just introduced to me through mutual friends, and that was basically our acquaintance. But we built a friendship, I guess, through the constant contact and interaction.
Selling drugs was pretty good money then, was it?
What was that?
Good money.
No, sir, it really wasn't all that great. And I think the main reason that I even got into that was, as I said, marijuana was my drug of choice, and the guy who I was getting my marijuana from just happened to have pills and things like that, and it became, I was the middleman for a long time. Just my circle of friends, that were looking for things. It was easy and convenient, and one day I just had the brilliant idea to stop putting the money in somebody else's pocket, into my buddy's pocket, and just put it into mine. And it really wasn't all that great money, but it allowed me to get my marijuana pretty much for free. Again, hindsight's 20/20, and all of these decisions, you look back on them and they're terrible. I was raised better than that. I brought a lot of shame to my own family, and my parents and everybody that's had a hand in raising me with good morals and principles and values. And I just made bad decisions, and any decisions that I made, should have no bearing on them and how they raised me. I was young and dumb and irresponsible.
Do you feel like maybe you might smoke a little marijuana later on if you're released?
I was drug-free in the months leading up to my arrest, and I've been drug-free for the past 21 years. I have no desire to use drugs. However, I understand that addiction can be a tricky thing, and I'm willing to take classes, AA classes, wherever I'm going if I'm released, or any other substance abuse classes if the board deems necessary. I have no problem with that.
Have you gone to AA since you've been incarcerated?
I've taken AA and NA and substance abuse. Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no more questions.
I'd like to understand better the program you were involved in, the veteran mentorship program. Can you explain that to me, please?
It's a program, originally it was designed to help incarcerated veterans. But there are so few of them that they wanted to bring in other guys who, I guess, exhibited qualities of leadership to help mentor other young guys that were coming into prison, to try to give them skills and things like honesty and integrity to kind of guide the younger guys that seem lost in their way. And the program has been really great in that regard. And so they build up mentors and help those mentors go out and kind of mentor other younger adults.
So you live in a dorm so you have a special dorm that you live in. And it's my understanding that if you have any kind of disciplinary problem or anything, then you're removed from that program. Is that correct?
Ma'am,
And how long have you been in that program?
I've been in that program since 2018.
Okay. You got your GED while you were incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am. That was the first thing I did in 2006.
And then you also got a craft diploma for your carpentry work?
Yes, ma'am. Carpentry and fiber optic installation and just a number of different fields through NCCER, which is a big, I guess, construction type of overseer.
And then who are you when it says you're a registered tutor, who are you tutoring and in what subjects?
We have other inmates that come through the vocational classes like carpentry and welding and air conditioning and refrigeration. My specialty is in carpentry. And we usually have 10 to 12 students at a time. And they rotate as they go through the levels of their classes. And I usually have 10 to 12 students.
So you're tutoring those new to the program.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Those are the questions I wanted to ask. I just needed that clarification. You have had pre-release, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Other questions you have, Ms. Liddy?
Yes.
Yes, no more questions. No more questions. All right, I'm gonna ask for an executive session.
I second.
Alrighty, they're going to discuss things. While they do that, let's go to Michigan. We'll see what's going on with Judge Simpson.
On the other matter, defendant is bound over to circuit court on counts 1 through 4. So he's bound over to circuit court on all 10 counts.
Your Honor, we acknowledge receipt of information in both matters. Waive reading, stand mute.
Defendant having waived formal reading, standing mute, court will enter not guilty plea as to all charges. Pretrial will be set for March 31st, 2026, 1:30 before Judge Cunkey.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bond will continue in this case. Smasher. Court calls the case of the people versus Warner Ali Thomas.
Check while I speak with people. Innocent public defendant Nick Bukovich for Mr. Ali Thomas, who is now approaching. Mr. Ali Thomas, can you please state your name for the record?
Warner Victor Ali Thomas. Thank you. I have before me a plea form that indicates the defendant will be pleading guilty charge of attempted resisting and obstructing a police officer, first responder to 1-year offense. Found is successfully to that charge, counts 1 through 3 would be dismissed. Well, yes, counts 1 through 3 would dismiss. And count 2 is gonna have to help me. I got 1 through 3 in this case would be dismissed. And then there's another 15th district court case where I don't,
I mean, it's a global resolution for to resolve court cases.
okay,
The plea agreement would call for Mr. Ali Thomas to plead guilty to attempted resisting obstructing a police officer in the case before the court today. We will then dismiss counts as an added count 4, dismiss counts 1 through 3. Then we will dismiss 15th district court case number 26034 SM. Defendant case in its entirety. We'll dismiss the district court case number 260048 SM in its entirety. That's a larceny under 200. And count 2 in 15th district court case 260033 SM. Which
is already at 15.
already at 15 years. And then part of this is he's also going to plead guilty to attempted resisting a police officer in 15th district court case number 260033 SM.
All right. And then he's agreeing to pay restitution to be determined on all dismissed counts from the cases that we talked about here.
Yes.
And then there's a sentence agreement also to probation. Okay, that would be the court's full understanding of it. Is that your understanding, Mr. Buckovich?
This is my understanding. Also, in addition, APA agent Nexi, there's a city case that she indicated would be dismissed once these 2 cases are pled to as well. I believe that may not be on there, but that is an email chain with me and Mr. Chabavowski that Jen Janetsky agreed to dismiss that city case.
Yes.
That's part of the whole global resolution.
But, okay, but that's a city case, not a state case.
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct? Okay, all right. Understood. May I have him sworn?
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
By God's law.
State your name, please.
Warner Victor Ali Thomas.
All right. Sir, it is this court's understanding you're going to be pleading guilty to the charge of attempted resisting and obstructing a police officer, or first responder. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration and a $1,000 fine plus court cost. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
All right. You understand also that while I'm taking your plea, I would not be your sentencing judge and you would be sentenced before Judge Garwood in the 15th District Court.
And they're over. And they're over.
Pardon?
And they're over.
Yes, sir.
So understanding all of that, how do you plead to that charge?
Good.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you will not have a trial of any kind.
We need a verbal answer, yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
You signed an advice of rights form or had one caused to be signed on your behalf?
Yeah, I have.
Do you have any questions regarding any of those rights?
No, I don't.
Please look at paragraph 5. You'll see a copy on the podium. Those are your rights which are part of a trial. You understand that by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up those rights as well as all the rights on the form. You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right.
Yes.
Are you on probation or parole?
No,
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record?
not at all.
Has anybody threatened you or coerced you?
Not at all.
You're doing this voluntarily? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Of your own free will?
Yeah. For sure, for sure.
Well, I'm done.
You had it. That's because he's not free now.
So, Mr. Buckovich, I'll give you 2 weeks to figure out how to tell your client to behave in my courtroom.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Court calls case, people versus.
Well, that's unfortunate. Don't do that in Judge Simpson's court. Let's go back to Louisiana, get their decision.
All right, the board is called back to order, coming out of executive session. We'll time the vote, so we'll let Ms. Ledoux cast the first vote.
Okay, Mr. Burkholder, the situation in this case is tragic. However, I have to look at 6 different factors when I make a decision. It's very evidence-based. I look at, first of all, the risk to public safety. And in this case, I do not feel that you are a risk to public safety going forward. You have served 21 of your 30 years. But it's the manner in which that you have served, by taking advantage and being a productive member of that community. You have excellent programming. You've given back as a tutor. You have good behavior. You have excellent plans for moving forward. My vote today is going to be to grant parole to your interstate compact only, and that you avail yourself to AA-NA meetings at least once a week for the first year. So that's my vote today.
Tillis?
Mr. Leonard, I believe that, and this is difficult, you have shown remorse. I don't think you're a risk to public safety. I think that you've served enough time. My vote today is going to be to concur with Ms. Ledoux, the grant.
All right. Like Mr. Tillis said, this is a tough case. I don't believe you intended to kill the man, but you did. But you have served well, your time well while in custody, and you have bettered yourself. So I'm going to vote to concur with my colleagues and grant you parole on the condition that you have no contact with the Pirro family, that you do not return to Slidell, Louisiana for any reason whatsoever, that you complete outpatient substance abuse treatment, and that you attend AA meetings and NA meetings at least one time per week. So based on that, today your parole has been conditionally granted. Good luck.
Thank you.
Approved? Approved. All right. I don't know if they made the right decision or not. I'm kind of torn on that one, but good for him. Hopefully he makes something of his life and lives it honorably. Hey, thanks for watching this clip from TCF Live. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And you can join us weekdays live, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, right here on this channel.